Welcome to Smart Brown Voices, your weekly podcast featuring diverse voices from around the world, giving you insights on how others made it big in their respective fields. Now sit back, grab a notebook, and get ready to be inspired. And don't forget to use hashtag #SmartBrownVoices to share insights, moments of wisdom, and things from the show that inspire you. And now, here's your host, social media nerd and technology activist, Mr. Mike Street.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mr. Mike Street. This is episode 65 of Smart Brown Voices. Thanks for hanging out with us all for this past year, and thanks for all the downloads to the show. It's been really amazing meeting everybody in person as I've been kind of going on a little mini tour. So if you met me at Propeller Fest or at most recently Life After Launch, thank you for being supporters of the show. So today we're going to actually talk about one of my favorite things, which is filmmaking and crowdsourcing and all of that fun stuff. So we have one half of a directing team on here. So Jenna, introduce yourself to the Smart Brown Voices community.
Hello, Smart Brown Voices. This is Jennia Frederica Ponte. I will be co-directing a great project. It's called 90 Days. It's a short film with a great message, an amazing cast, and I get to work with people I love, so life is good.
So one of the things that popped out to me was the title of the short film, 90 Days. So where did that come from exactly?
The title comes from the story. You know, it's making the guy, not making the guy, but girls talk about this a lot. I don't know what the guys are talking about, but it's basically about waiting 90 days before you consummate the relationship.
Oh, okay, the 90-day rule. Gotcha.
The 90-day rule,
yeah.
And it has it sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but some girls live and swear by it, and I don't know how guys feel about it as much as but from the female perspective, the 90-day rule is quite common.
So give us a little bit about the story of the short film that you and Nathan are working on.
So Tiana Paris stars as Jessica. She's our lead female. She meets a guy named Taylor, Nick Few, and they fall in love pretty fast, but they both agree to wait 90 days. So they wait 90 days, but Nick has decided, Taylor, our main character, has decided that he wants to propose after 90 days. And Jessica decides that on the 90th day, she wants to reveal to him that she has HIV. So
Wow.
While it's heavy, what we know now about HIV is that it's not a death sentence. The question is, while I know that I can live with it, how do I love with it? If that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense, and I think it's a great story to tell, especially now because like you said, it's not being someone who is HIV positive, it's not a death sentence, and you can actually have fulfilling relationships and everything else in between. So I think this is a great story for everyone to see and hear.
Just not everyone knows that it's just a conversation that needs to happen, especially among our community,
So how did you come into the project, and how did you hook up with Nathan?
I've known Nathan for years. He's a really, really talented writer. And he's directed a film as well. And we were both I directed a film called Sacred Heart. We shot it in Paris. It won a bunch of awards. And we met and, really, really wanted to work together, didn't know what the right project was, but this came around, and his writing was incredible. He sent me the script. He wanted me to do notes on it. He said, I'm writing and directing this movie, and I read it. I loved the script, and I said, well, I want to direct it. And he was like, well, girl, I'm going to direct it. So the more we talked, the more we found out that we'd be a great team. A la the Coen brothers and the Wachowskis. So, we talked and loved what we could do as a team. And that's how we basically put it together.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about the cast, because I know you have a lot of well-known people in your cast for this short film.
Yes, we have an amazing actor. He's on the rise. His name is Nick Few. Beautiful, beautiful guy, great energy. Tiana Paris, who I think is just, oh God, I'm a fan of her work. I think she's talented and amazing and smart. She's going to be playing our lead. We have the amazing, awesome, I don't have enough great things to say about Pauletta Washington, who is an accomplished actress and musician. So excited about having her. And Rodney Chester, who was a castmate of mine when I was on the show Noah's Ark. He played Alex, who is brilliant and funny. And a comedian, Emmett Short, who is really talented and I think on the rise as well. So it's a great cast, and I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been sleeping because they call it pre-production hell, but I call it pre-production heaven, because when you get to do what you love, it's such a free, wonderful feeling,
It is. So how did you get into the whole filmmaking and directing and acting, lifestyle?
Acting is something that I've always wanted to do, even as a kid. And I started pretty much as a teenager. I did the last season of City Guys, which was on NBC. And then I did a soap opera called Passions. So it was...
I love that show.
Yeah, I played a bad girl. And then I did Noah's Ark, and I just recently did a pilot with Whoopi Goldberg for ABC, playing her daughter, which was like a dream come true, because most of what I've done has been comedy. It didn't get picked up, but that's how it goes in Hollywood. And filmmaking was, I feel like it was a natural transition. There were words and things that I wanted to say as an actor, and I'm a visual artist. So I don't know if you've seen Sacred Heart, the film I wrote and directed, but I think it's visually really stunning, and it's something that I've always wanted to do, and I want to say it might be more satisfying than acting, because you're in control of creating an entire world with filmmaking. So it's so satisfying. So directing, getting behind the camera, I don't want to say, I want to say I fell into it, but Jussie Smollett, a really good friend of mine on Empire, I've been writing for a while, and he was like, Jennia, you need to write more, and I think you can be a great director. And, we talked and tried to figure out a project, and Sacred Heart was really it. And as you can imagine, with his name and star status, the film it's been over a year, and we're still doing screenings for it. It's my baby. It's so, it's just been great.
Awesome. So what would be some, for our inspiring filmmakers out there, what are kind of your top 3 tips for success in this space?
I think one of them would definitely be to study the greats, to study film, to study the history of film. You can't, while Steven Spielberg is an amazing director, and you should definitely study his work, but study who Steven Spielberg studied. Learn the language of film. Learn as much as you can, so that you're always going to be a student, but become a master by, I think, studying the masters. The other thing I would be with, it's a collaboration. So you can be the most talented person in the world, but if you're an asshole, sorry for the word, nobody's going to want to work with you.
Yeah.
So etiquette is very important, I think, in terms of, just be nice. Be, this is, if this is really what you want to do, let the love for it translate it into being work withable, if that's a word. And the other thing is to tell stories that matter. If you're into writing, write things that will sustain. We're still saying there are phrases that Shakespeare made popular, and that was in what, the 1600s?
Yeah.
We're still saying things and still doing his works. That's immortality. So create work that means something. Even if it just means something to you, that passion will be translated. And it's being true to yourself creates success. You can't avoid success if you're being true to yourself.
So you guys have turned to crowdfunding because you're using the GoFundMe platform to help raise, I think it's $10,000 for the production of the film. So tell us a little bit about what you guys are trying to accomplish with that.
Yeah, it's been it was a crowdfunding campaign, and what we're basically trying to accomplish is, we want to raise the money and to make an amazing piece that can reach as many audiences as possible. We did a crowdfunding video and reached out to our warm circle, our cold circle, the globe to get these projects done. It's really, I believe there's no such thing as a bad idea, but how do we execute them? A lot of times it takes money. Well, most of the time, all of the time, it takes money and favors to get these projects done.
So I'm just gonna say thank you for joining us, and we're gonna jump over to Nathan so you can kind of get a little bit of what he has to bring to this project.
Awesome! It was great talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for doing what you're doing, because it's positive and beautiful and much needed.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna jump right into you, and you can tell us a little bit about 90 Days and why you wrote such an amazing project that I think will educate a lot of people on what's happening in today's society and being able to live and love with being a person who is HIV positive.
Yeah, so I have been in AIDS, HIV advocacy for over a decade, and it's always been an important thing to me because being LGBT and being Black, it's ravaging those two communities that I'm a part of more so, and it's impacting them more so than other communities. So I've always been committed to that fight. And then I was also, this year, I was the national spokesperson for the CDC's Doing It campaign. And so I wanted to write a movie for my friends that are positive, that treatment has come such a long way. And, one of their biggest concerns is, how do I tell people that I'm positive? And how do I, am I going to ever be able to be in a relationship and find love? So I wanted to write a film that gave people hope, but also educated people about the current status of the virus. So many people don't understand that there are drugs that are called PrEP, that if you are intimate with someone who is HIV positive, that can prevent you from contracting the virus. A lot of people don't even realize that pretty much with most prenatal care, mothers don't pass along the virus to their children anymore with the proper prenatal medical care. So I wanted to educate, I wanted to uplift, I wanted to provide hope.
Awesome. So Nathan, you've had a long career in TV, film production. So let's give our audience a little bit taste of just a lot of the things that you've been working on over the past couple of years.
Oh, wow. It's this last year has been really one of those moments where you believe when you see your dreams coming true. I released a novel last August, in August 2015, called Ladies Who Lunch and Love. Produced films like Dirty Laundry, which just celebrated its 10-year anniversary, which starred Rockland Dunbar and Jennifer Lewis and Loretta Devine, and is still being shown on television to this day. And also last year, I directed and wrote my first film. I moved from producing to actually being the storyteller. And it was called Love for Passion, and it was on the film festival and won many awards. And that's kind of how Jennia and I came to work together. We've known each other for many, many years, and I've always loved her just as a person and a being. But then I saw her film that was on the festival circuit last year called Sacred Heart, and it's just brilliant. And I knew I had to work with her.
Why is storytelling and the images, especially of people of color, and especially right now with this everything that's going on in our nation, why is storytelling like really important? Because I feel like it can be like a game changer and one of the solutions to a lot of things that are going on right now. Because I feel like we have the dominant culture. They have a lot of control over the media and the narrative, and I feel like if we can use some of those tactics too, it'll help us change a lot of things that are going on. So why do you feel that is really important?
Well, you actually just, answered it. It is exactly what you said. Whoever controls the narrative, whoever controls the story is the one that impacts what society thinks. And we use entertainment for entertainment purposes, and we use movies and television shows and books and stuff like that for entertainment purposes. But it also gets into our psyche. And so if we're always represented one way in the prevailing and predominant stories that are being told, then that is the way the society is going to perceive us. So we have to tell our own stories. We have to tell it from our perspective, because that helps change, as you said, the prevailing predominant narrative. There's a proverb, and I always mess these up unless I Google it, but it's, the lion will always be the loser, or if the hunter is always telling the story, or something like that. It's an African proverb. I'm not saying it articulately, but that's the truth. It's like if we don't tell our own stories, then we will always be portrayed inaccurately.
So Nathan, we have a segment in the show called the Smart Six. So I'm going to ask you 6 quick questions, and you're going to answer with the first thing that comes to the top of your head. And it's just a way to get to know you a little bit better and to give a little insight into, some things that you like. So you ready?
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
So number 1, what book changed your life?
A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle.
Awesome. Number 2, what's your favorite song that you're jamming to right now?
Oh, I'm still stuck in the 90s, so it'll probably be Whitney Houston, I'm Your Baby Tonight.
Awesome. I love that song. Number 3, what's one thing that you do to relax?
I watch TV.
And what's your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show right now is, of all time or currently on television?
Either or.
Of all time, my favorite TV show, it's a tie between The Cosby Show and Sex and the City. And then currently, I just love Kerry Washington, and I love Scandal. And so, no, I take that back. Power is my favorite show on TV.
Oh, okay. Everyone's loving Power right now.
Yep, and it comes back on soon. So.
I think Sunday. I think it starts on Sunday.
Yep.
What's one movie that you've seen like 100 times?
The Color Purple.
Cool. Me too. And who is another smart brown voice that you look up to and respect?
Oh, there's so many. Keith Boykin. Keith Boykin taught me a lot. I respect his work ethic. I respect his commitment to making change in the world. His brain, he's super intelligent, and then I know his heart personally. So I would say that's I like my role models to be touchable. So it would be Keith Boykin.
Awesome, we love Keith too. He lives a couple doors down from us in Harlem.
Oh, well, that means I used to live a couple of doors down from you in Harlem.
And our final question is, what can our listeners do right now to help support you in everything that you're working on?
Well, one of the things that, I want to try to change, and part of the reason why I do the corporate side as well as the creative side, is that we always have we were talking about how important it is for us to tell our stories. Our barriers are usually access to resources. So access to human resources, access to capital resources. And for some reason or another, other communities are very quick to support their community. So, like for instance, we did a crowdfunding campaign, and I have to admit that it didn't do as well as I would have liked it to do. And we got tons of likes, we got tons of views, we got tons of everything. And but the actual someone clicking and saying, "I'll give you $2." It was, it was pretty not. It wasn't as widespread and supportive as we'd like it to be. So, I think that the community has to understand that if we don't support it, no one else will. Mm-hmm. And these voices that need to be heard are not going to be heard unless they start at the grassroots, which starts with us.
Excellent. So, guys, I'm going to leave links in the show notes so that you guys can support Nathan and Jennia and everything that they're working on. Check out their crowdfunding video that they put together, because I think it's a really important topic that they're talking about, and sheds a lot of light on this subject matter. So please, support people like this who are creating media and telling stories, because we have to change the narrative, especially with everything that's going on right now. So Nathan, thank you so much for, coming on Smart Brown Voices and talking about 90 Days. And we can't wait to see the first trailer. So please send it to us so we can share it with our community. That
sounds great. So much for having us and giving a platform to our project and everything you do. I love the show, by the way. And so I really appreciate it. I'm so grateful that we were able to be on.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, guys, that's it for episode 65 of Smart Brown Voices. We're trying to get to 100. My goal, and I'm putting it out there, but I want Serena Williams on episode 100. So anybody out there listening that can make that happen, send me an email. streetforce1@gmail.com. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Smart Brown Voices with your host, Mr. Mike Street. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll leave a review on iTunes and tell your friends and colleagues. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts, and make sure to follow us on social media. This has been a Mr. Mike Street production. Join us next time for another edition of Smart Brown Voices, and be inspired.